So good morning everybody, Tracy's back again to do some mobility and strength exercises, concentrating on running. So this is one for the runners. Now I'm going to weigh my first one on the hips and then the hip flexors. The hip flexors cause the primary extensors and glute group to become lengthened and weakened. A contributing factor to tightness is that the glutes aren't as active as other running muscles. Now I will cover other running muscles in another video, but today we're going to concentrate on hip mobility and just lengthening off those hip flexors. Again, if those hip flexors are tight, that can cause your other muscle groups to become lengthened and therefore and weaker. First one I'm going to do is the hip flexor. So we come up onto our knees, we bring our right leg forward into that 90 degree. From that position, we lean forward slightly, making sure the knee doesn't come over the toe. We keep the back nice and straight, pulling that stomach, and that stretch is going all the way down the front of the thigh, around the hip area. And that is your hip flexors here. We just emphasize that stretch that little bit more, making sure again the knee doesn't come over the toe. And from that position there, we would hold for say 30 seconds. And then we would change. So again, switch legs, left leg forward, back into that 90 degree. Slightly lean forward. Feeling that stretch going down the right hand side, round the hip, down into the front of the thigh, down that hip flexor muscles. My next one is a little bit more advanced, so it's wall assisted hip flexors. But in my case this morning, washing machine. So we bring one foot up, which would be against the wall. As I say, I'm on a washing machine. We get the back nice and straight. And then we just literally just get yourself nice and comfortable, and then nice and straight, lean up. Again, I can feel that stretch going all the way down my hip flexors. I'm a runner, and my hip flexors are naturally tend to be tight. So these are exercises that I would try and do pretty much every day if I can, every other day if not. From that position again, we then would switch legs. Bringing your back nice and straight, and as soon as you go into that position, you feel that stretch going down the front of that right hip flexor. Again, we would hold that for say 30 seconds, and then I will probably do that 3 times and just switch my legs again. All of my exercises from here for mobility and stretch, I would hold for 30 seconds and then change. My next one is 90-90 rotations. So we come onto a seated position. Our legs are nice and flat on the floor. Toes facing away from the body. And then the legs nice and flat. What we're going to do from here, I'm going to wiggle a little bit further forward off my mat, just so you can see. From here, we're going to switch the legs. So we move them, switch them over. My chair's in my way a little bit. Keeping the toes facing in that 90 degree, and switch again. Mine are always tight. Again, another great exercise around keeping those hips and that mobility, switching your legs 90 degree to 90 degree. Okay, my next one is emphasising on mobility. So you could just, at home, in the gyms when they open, just get yourself a little space, and we're just going to swing the leg backwards and forwards. Big swings. And again, that's going to be a great warm-up as well before we're gone. Releasing that synovial fluid into those muscle joints, so you're nice and warm, lubricated before you go out for your run. I would probably do 30 swings, So if you just remember the 30, so 30 seconds, 30 swings, and then, excuse me, for the back, we would switch sides and we would do the 30 swings on the opposite side. One of the things for me is, excuse me, I just wrote my little quote down, is look after your hips and your feet will look after themselves. So again, look after your hips, lots of exercises around the hip area, especially if you want to get into running or you're a keen runner, you want to improve your running, think about the hips. The feet will look after themselves. That's part of my mobility and stretch, part 1. Part 2 is strength. First one I'm going to do are seated calf raises. One of the ones when I injured my leg, my physio asked me to do. Then we're going to go from seated to standing. So here, we've got a chair out. We sit, keeping our posture, shoulders back, tummy in, back nice and straight, feet firmly on the floor. From that position, we're going to lift our calf raises and back down. So we come up onto our tippy toes. Slightly, you can see that extraction in the muscles on the camera. I'm sticking with the number 3, i.e. 30 seconds, 30 swings, 300 leg raises. So just sit there, watch TV, counting in 300 from a seated position. Advanced, we come up into that standing. So this time from here we come up onto our tippy toes, again slightly holding at the top. We contract. I'm still slightly weak on the left leg. And I would do 30 raises. My next one is body weight leg extensions. So onto the knees. Keep the body nice and straight. We're going to lean back. Keep that tummy nice and tight. We lean back into that leg extension. And then we pull back up and go again. Nice and straight. And then pull back up. And I would probably go for say 15 of these, maybe not the 30, but do 2 sets, so you're still doing 30. My next one, the core, is just as important. My next 2 exercises emphasising on the core. First one is single arm plank. So we get ourselves into a high plank. I'll just move that chair. Keeping our hand, wrist underneath the shoulder for that support. No bottoms in the air, no dip in the hips. Nice and solid. We raise one hand off, keeping the hips facing the floor as much as we can. And I would hold that for as long as you can. I'm shaking myself now anyway. And then I would switch hands. Hold it for a moment. Then switch. Single arm plank. Trying to keep those hips facing the mat or floor as much as we can. My last one on the core, back into that dead bug. Again, one of my favourites. We're going to use my washing machine and we're going to press against that. The legs come up into that tabletop and we extend the leg and then bring it back. Extend, bring back. Pushing against that wall, or in my case, the washing machine this morning. I would do say 30, 15 on each side, and do that twice. In my opinion, strength work is the backbone of great endurance training, and more importantly, to prevent injury and remain injury free. I will do another video emphasising on the other running muscles, but for now, I hope you have an amazing day. I shall see you all very, very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.